Hi everyone, today I'm going to demonstrate how to use our threading tool in making female and male parts. Today I'm going to use 8mm threading tool, which is, we color it green. We also offer pink and it's 12mm and gray 16mm. As you can see all the parts on the table, we have 12 pieces for each threading tool, and I'm going to show you how to assemble it, and we're going to start out by lubricating our molds. We marked all the pieces with numbers, so when assembling it will be much easier for you to do so, and just follow the numbers. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to use a ball of clay and I'm going to make it a cylinder shape. And it has to fit into mold 2A and 2B. Here we're going to put it together. You have to squeeze as much clay as possible to fill the whole mold on both sides. Make sure you can see that the clay is coming out and it's full. And squeeze it tight in between your fingers with the pressure. Okay, we're gonna scrape the clay that's left over without touching the middle. And we're gonna take our 2A and 2B and we're gonna place it on top of one. There are notches that fit perfectly, and we're just going to assemble it like Lego, one on top of the other. Now after one is supporting on the bottom, I'm going to push down again and make sure my clay is securely inside, and I'm going to clean the axis. As you see this indentation, it means that I don't have enough clay, so I'm going to use the clay that I have left from before and just put on top of it and push down again. I'm going to use the spatula, that's what's comfortable for me, to just make a clean edge.
Stop.
Part 3 will come on top of part 2. And part 4A and 4B will put it together. And then put it on part 3. It's a new mold, so sometimes when it's new it's a little bit hard, but after that it's softened and you can just put together really easy. I'm going to use part 5, which lock the whole box, on top of part A and B. And here, as you can see, we have the clay inside and our box is ready to be squeezed. As you can see, we have 2 plungers. We're going to use the one with the threader to go inside this process. We're going to hold it straight down and we're going to apply a pressure down and hold the box tight and straight, and slightly start squeezing the clay and turning the threader tool, the plunger. I'm holding and forcing my fingers that the box won't split, and if it happens, you're going to have to start over. Feel it, it's going to take you a couple of times maybe to feel it, to know that you do it, but you don't go all the way down, almost all the way down. That's it. I feel that I can't turn it anymore. And again, I'm holding it and I'm going to turn it the other way to take it out. And I keep it straight. I don't want that the threads will change or get hurt by something. Okay, this is our box. We're going to separate. This is 5 and this is 4. This is 3. We're going to separate number 4 and 5 from 3, exactly in the middle. I'm going to use my spatula. You can also use coin here in this slit. And separate, release pressure from all sides evenly. And this is where the clay, the leftover of clay will collect. Here. Clean up your clay and now separate 3 from 2 and 1. The same method, release the pressure from all sides. Now we want to flatten this out, and we want to start from the center in small pieces, always from the center out. We don't want the threads to cut and fold into the center, and we have a problem to screw after that the other part of the threads. So we go gently. Okay, check against the light and see the threading, if it's okay, if it looks perfect. To me it looks perfect and there is no imperfection. That it's very important, because if there is pieces or something, it will affect the threading tool later on. Okay, what we want to do right now, as you remember, part 2 and part 1 are connecting. We want to put number 3 back on number 2. It's kind of a lock, so we want to keep it together. And what we're going to do, we're going to remove part number 1, because we're going to use it for the other one, the other box. Okay. This one also clean. Try not to touch the center, and clean all the excess from the center out. Okay, let's put it for 20 minutes on the hot plate to dry. Our female part is drying on the hot plate, and we're going to make now the male part. Look on your table and see that you have the plunger with the straight edge, We have 1, 6A, 6B, 7, and 4 and 5 from before that it's already assembled. It's very important. We're going to use 1, 4 and 5 from the previous. Using part 6A and 6B, we're going to put our clay inside, and we will attach it. Squeezing the clay in between to make sure we fill out the whole mold, both sides. Squeeze if you have a gap, squeeze, and you can see that the clay is coming out. Okay, we're going to remove the clay from the bottom, and we're going to assemble 6A and 6B on top of 1 from the previous mold. And push down. So again, it's flush. We'll place part 7 on top of 6A and 6B. We'll hold down the box and building. 4 and 5 that we used before on top of 7. Straight down. hold the box, and now we're going to use this plunger, and the same thing as we did before. We hold the box down, we make sure it doesn't move, and we force a little pressure that the box won't open. And straight down, we're going to twist our plunger almost until we hit the okay, and now the other way, untwist. Always keep it straight. If it moves, it's not good, and you're gonna have to start over. As we did before, we're gonna break the box in the middle, release the pressure. And that's what we should get. You can leave it like this, you don't have to clean it, it's gonna fall off when it's dry, and we're gonna join this to our other piece on the hot plate for 20 minutes. Okay, we removed the molds from the hot plate, it's been 20 minutes. Now I'm gonna demonstrate how we open it. The same method of the release. This is part A. This is part 1. We're going to disconnect from 6A and 6B and detach these two. You can clean it now, you can clean it later. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to remove it from the mold and we're going to place it again on the hot plate. So we know that the piece is internally dry. Okay, this is the female part, and that's the male part. I know it looks a little funky right now, but don't worry, we're gonna clean it afterwards. Okay, our little parts are ready. They're dry from the hot plate. It's really easy just to snap the clay with your fingers. And I'm going to show you how to gently clean it. Make sure you hold the thread from the top, from the base. And if you can use your fingers, fine. I like to use this tool and just gently cut it without, of course, I'm not touching where the place where the threads are. Okay, this is one part, and here you can just use a sandpaper to smooth the surface. Now when the pieces are ready and dry enough to work with, we're going to prepare them for fitting. The first thing we need to do is to carve a little bit from the top in an angle. This will allow easier access to continue the process and the progress of mating these two pieces together. So gently work with a craft tool, X-Acto knife, and make a little bit carving in an angle. Okay? This is 1200 grit sandpaper, and we cut them to 2 small pieces. We're going to roll out, and it has to fit inside our female part. And gently, I'm going to hold my piece, insert the sandpaper, and I want to sand just a little bit of my threads. Okay, that's enough. With the other part of the sandpaper, I'm going to go and hold it like that on the two sides of the sandpaper, and just going to twist. Another method is using the plunger, and look how I'm holding it. I'm supporting my this part with my 3 fingers or even 4, and I'm going to slowly try to work my way in with the plastic plunger that actually created this piece. So now that it cut it, and what you have to do is just lay down and work the other way around. Work your way down, and this is actually better because the dust will actually come down and won't get stuck inside the threads. You can go, in and out, and you will see the dust comes in and out. You will see the dust comes out, falls down. We're gonna work the same concept with part 6 and 6B. We're gonna take our screw, and I'll try to screw it back in the part that created it. And at the same time, it will grind a little bit the tracks. Do it a couple of times, and in between clean the dust that collected in between the tracks and in the mold. As you can see, I marked my piece with a pen, my 2 pieces with a pen, to see how I go along in the progress and mark my progress, and this will encourage you to continue and see how far you go down. See, every time I just progress a little bit, a couple more millimeters, and I think I'm halfway down there. I'm going to use the dental pick to remove the built-up dust, because as I go along with the screw down and going down, it will destroy the threads, and I want to prevent it by removing the dust. I'm almost there. I marked it again, and I have just a tiny bit to continue. I'm going to use my little sandpaper to sand the top threads or tracks to narrow them that will fit. little bit moved, just a bit, tiny bit, but I'm gonna get there, and you will too. I'm working with silver clay. You can use our mold with any clay you want, but just note, and it's important to know that each clay has its own characteristic and it reacts different with this type of progress. With silver clay I used kind of a lot of sanding. Maybe with bronze it's kind of grinded on each other and it's easier, and just this process will be easier. But I brought you all the possibilities of working, and you can just use all of these methods to achieve the final result, which is matching these two pieces. This is the part where you should stop and don't force it more. We can do it later after we fire and continue working on it till it perfectly matches.